Hello everyone. Today we'll be learning about cost estimating in civil engineering, that is basically construction purposes. So, what is the basic purpose of cost estimating? The purpose of cost estimating is to find the cost of the manufacturing operations and to assist in setting the price for the product. That is to get to the final cost of the whole project. Then there is the definition. Definition we can define it as cost estimating is the process of determining the probable cost of the product before the start of manufacture. So in this thing, you get the cost before you start a project. The features of cost estimating are: it is important in engineering design and production. It is the forecasting of the future cost. Cost estimating and process planning are prominent activities in the manufacturing system. It considers all the expenditures involved, like engineering, administration, etc. It requires high technical knowledge because without technical knowledge about steel, the cost, local cost, you cannot estimate the cost of any project. It is very important because it is the only accurate estimating that can enable the leaders, basically the people who are willing to pay for the project, to make vital decisions such as manufacturing, selling policies. Now, there can be two sides of a coin. So, here also, if it is overestimated, the firm will not be able to complete the project and compete with its competitors. Basically, they won't be able to pitch in their ideas and work on it. And if the job is underestimated, the firm will face huge financial loss because they were showing something else and they're getting more like they're getting more expenditures, so they won't be able to cope up with the difference. Now, what are the aims of cost estimation? It is to establish the selling price of product so as to ensure reasonable profit to the company, to determine the most economical process, to buy or make decisions, and to evaluate the alternate designs, to prepare production budget, and to initiate the cost reduction in the existing facilities. Now, we'll be learning about some estimation types that are currently used in the market. It is to fix the selling price of the product, to help the contractors to submit the accurate tenders, to forecast the progress of production and cost, and to set the various standards. Now, here are the components of job estimation. They are namely design cost, drafting cost, R&D cost, material cost, labor cost, inspection cost, cost of tools, jigs, figures, etc., and overhead cost. Now, we'll be learning in detail about each one of them separately. First comes the design cost. Design cost of the product is estimated by ascertaining the expected time for the design of that product. Design time can be the estimate on the basis of similar products already designed or on the basis of good judgment of the designer. Basically, from past life experiences or past projects like these, we can find the design time. If design done by outside agency, the total amount paid gives the cost of the design. Another comes the drafting cost. When the design is completed, the drawing will be prepared by the draftsman. And this drafting cost is the estimated draft time multiplied by salary of the draftsman per unit time. Now R&D cost. Considerable time and money has to be spent on research and development work. The estimated cost and time on it are decided by the judgment or the past experience. Now the material cost. Following steps involved are: prepare the list of all the materials required before you are going to start with the project. Estimate the weight of all the materials and the local market rates. And the local market rates will differ based on the place where you live. And finally, the estimated cost of all the parts are added. Like first, they are calculated individually and then added to get the final material cost. Labor cost. It is the cost of the labor, like how much you're going to pay for the laborers to work on a project. The inspection cost. During this stage, the estimator should consider the cost of inspection equipment, gauges and wages to the inspectors. Now, coming to cost of tools, jigs, fixtures, etc. During this stage, it includes the estimated cost and maintenance charges for the tools, jigs, fixtures, die, etc. It considers their present prices, market trend, and the number of times a particular tool can be used during its time. Here is the formula with which you can find the cost of tools, 6, etc. Overhead cost, again the formula is given to calculate the overhead cost. It's basically the ratio of estimated cost upon the number of jobs. Now, the procedure for cost estimating. Step 1. We have to study the cost estimation request thoroughly and understand it completely. Without understanding the future of the project, you cannot estimate it. Another second step, analyze the product and decide the requirements and specifications of the product. Step 3. Prepare the list of all the parts of the product and the bill of materials. Step 4. Take, make or buy decisions and prepare a separate list of parts to be purchased and manufactured. Step 5. Estimate the material cost for the parts to be manufactured in the plant. Step 6. Determine the cost of the parts to be purchased from outside. Step 7. Make a manufacturing process plan for the parts to be manufactured in the plant. Step 8. Estimate the machining time for each operation listed in the manufacturing process plan. Step 3. Determine the direct labor cost. The 10th step, determine the prime cost by adding direct expenses, direct material cost and direct labor cost. Step 11, estimate the factory overheads, which includes all the indirect expenditures incurred during production, such as indirect material cost, indirect labor cost, depreciation and expenditure on maintenance of the plant, machinery, power, etc. Estimate 12, estimate the administrative expenses. Then you have to estimate the selling and distribution expenses, which includes packing and delivery charges of the same. Now you have to calculate the total cost of the product. For that, you have to determine the prime cost by adding direct expenses, and then you have to decide the profit and add the profit to the total cost to fix the selling price of the product. Finally, you have to estimate the time of delivery in consultation with the production and sales department. Now, this is what an estimate form looks like. This is the basic layout of an estimate form. Here you have to write all the materials that you require, their quantity and their weight with the volume and the local cost. With that, in one column, you'll write the total cost of those quantities, and then you'll have to add and estimate the final cost of the project. Now, this costing is the determination of an actual cost of a component after adding different expenses individually in various departments. Aims of costing, as you already know, it is basically to determine the final cost of the project, for fixing the selling price of the project, and cost control, comparison with estimate, and make or buy decisions. Wastage reduction, suggest changes in design, profit and loss, fixing the discount, pricing policy. Subject preparation, prepare quotation tenders. Another important thing is to prepare quotation and tenders for the same thing. Outpost targets, which is to help in regulating from time to time the production of a job so that enterprise can earn more profits. Legal provisions. To meet certain legal and government regulations, cost data is necessary. Purchasing new one, to provide information for economic consideration for purchasing new plants, machines, etc. Now the methods of costing. The methods of costing are job order costing, batch costing, process costing. What comes in order costing is you have to find the cost of each individual job or contract, and then the total cost of each order is obtained from the daily cost sheet. In batch costing is a form of job costing only. Instead of costing each components, each batch of components is taken. And in process costing, employed for a product which involved a number of distinct processes performed in a definite sequence. This method indicates the cost of a product at different stages as it passes through various operations. Other methods also include department costing. In this method, we determine the cost of the output of each department separately. In this method, the actual expenditure of each department on various components entered on a separate sheet. Operating costing. This method is used in firms providing utility services. Unit costing. It is adopted by firms which supply uniform product rather than a variety of products. Multiple costing. This method is adopted where manufacture of standardized products having no relation to one another in cost, quality, and process, etc. Now the elements of cost. You can go through this graph. These are the different elements of costing. Now, the basic thing, that is the difference between estimation and costing. Here is a comparison of estimation versus costing. Estimation is it is the probable cost, whereas costing is the actual cost of the project. Now, in estimation, you need high technical knowledge if you want to get to the correct answer, whereas in costing, knowledge of accounts should be there. In estimating, it is done before the production, and costing just starts when you start with the project. Now, in estimation, planning department is there, and in costing, accounting department takes the lead. Okay, so thank you very much. I would like to conclude with this, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you.